Disney might have the strangest problem in animation right now. Because on paper, they still have everything. They have the biggest brand in family entertainment, they have princesses, they have Pixar, they got Marvel, they got Star Wars, theme parks, characters that people have loved for decades. And yet, somehow, when I look at Disney's current animation strategy, I keep asking this question. Who is this made for? Because between the live-action Moana remake, the new original animated movie Hexed, the return of Stitch in a theatrical short, and a constant push and pull between nostalgia and, please, look, we're still trendy. Disney feels like a studio trying to appeal to everyone at the same time. And listen, I'm saying this with love. I grew up with Disney like most of you. I started my channel during the era when Tangled felt like Disney animation was waking back up. We had Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana. That whole era felt like Disney was figuring out how to be modern without losing the heart. But now it feels like Disney standing in the kitchen with 50 ingredients, the sauce has been on the stove for too long, and someone's yelling, just throw more nostalgia in there, the kids love that. And I'm sitting here thinking, Bubby, what are we doing here? So today I want to talk about Disney's current animation problem, the live-action Moana remake, Hexed, the return of shorts with Lilo and Stitch, and while Disney may be playing things safe, they may be missing the audience they're trying to reach. Welcome back to the channel, where we talk about animation, movies, and the weird choices the studios keep making like they're ordering a dinner menu at 2 in the morning. Since a lot of you are not subscribed to the channel, it would mean a hell of a lot to me if you were to see more continent? To see more content. So today we're asking, is Disney in dismay? Let's start with the live-action Moana remake, or as I like to call it, the How to Train Your Dragon poster movie. I mean, seriously, look at this. It's literally the same thing. It's pretty bad. The original Moana came out in 2016. That movie's not sitting in a dusty vault next to a VHS tape and a Happy Meal toy. This movie still feels fresh in people's mind. The kids who grew up on Moana are not old enough to be nostalgic parents yet. A lot of them are teenagers or young adults. So when Disney says, hey, here's a live-action remake, I'm not even mad in the usual way. I'm just confused. What's the nostalgia for? Usually when Disney remakes an animated classic, you can at least understand the business logic. Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid. Those were films that have decades of emotional attachment to them. But Moana? Moana's still practically in the group chat. And yeah, I know the remake has cultural meaning. Dwayne Johnson clearly cares about the story. Now, God forbid me for murdering these names, but Catherine Lagaya, again, don't crucify me. She's stepping into the role of huge opportunity. Ollie Carvalho from the first movie, she's a producer, and that position does matter for her. But the franchise strategy standpoint, this does feel like Disney saw a beloved animated film and immediately asked, how can we recycle this? Not everything needs to be a live-action brand extension before the original even had time to be a classic. You don't make the Sunday sauce and then remake it 10 minutes later because in the boardroom someone said, what if we made the meatballs photorealistic? This is where Disney's problem starts to feel less like celebration and more like impatience. Now this is where it gets interesting, because Disney does have an original animated movie coming out called Hexed. And honestly, on paper, Hexed should be exactly what people were asking for. It's not a sequel, remake, not another live-action version of something we already know. It's an original Walt Disney Animation Studio feature. That alone makes me want to stand up and clap like someone just brought pizza to the party. Premise has got potential too. It's got fantasy and a world of witches and magic. The concept art featured a Mary Blair-inspired direction mixed with a Cheshire Cat character that gives me hope that we could be watching a modern-day Alice in Wonderland. I mean, that's a style that I feel like hasn't been utilized in a very long time, and I would love to see that come back. But then when I watch the trailer, I get this weird feeling. Suddenly that pizza your friend brought from Domino's, you could see where the crust is taking up most of the cheese and the sauce. Because when your movie's about weirdness, magical, self-discovery, and not fitting in, the movie should feel like it doesn't. It's gotta feel bold, strange. It should feel like Disney's letting the animators go a little nuts. When I think of bold, I think about that first trailer to The Lion King. Heck, I even think about the first trailer to Toy Story, which really immersed you into this world. You watch this trailer and you feel like it's being ready to show for TikTok with that centered framing. And I'm gonna get into that in a little bit too. Disney's got a bigger identity problem, because when I look at Hexed, I immediately think of shows like The Owl House. It's got magic, witches, weirdos, queer-coded and eventually open queer storytelling, teen emotional stakes, a fandom that was very passionate because the show actually felt specific. It doesn't feel like it was trying to appeal to everybody. It knew exactly who it was talking to. And that's something Disney Animation, at the feature level, seems very nervous about. Hex feels like it might be trying to reach teen girls, animation fans, fantasy fans, Disney families, nostalgic adults, and social media audiences all at once. But here's the thing. Teen audiences can smell fake from a mile away. Listen, you can't just put a teenage girl in a magical world and assume it automatically connects. You gotta give her a point of view. You gotta make the world feel like it's got gumption. You gotta trust the audience to handle something a little bit stranger. Because right now, independent animation and streaming animation are training audiences to expect niche. The Amazing Digital Circus? Niche. VivziePop? Niche. Spider-Verse? Niche. Arcane? Niche. Even the Owl House, made on Disney? Niche. Even when these projects are messy or polarizing, people respond because they feel like they were made by artists with a point of view. Disney, meanwhile, sometimes feels like it's trying to reverse engineer a point of view from trend data. And that's where you get the fellow kids problem. And I know what I mean. It's like the animation equivalent of an uncle walking to Thanksgiving dinner and saying, "So, you kids still doing the TikToks?" Or, me. I mean, that's personal experience. I'm an uncle at this point. Now, one of the more interesting conversations about the Hex trailer has been around the framing. Some people online feel like the trailer looks very centered, almost like the shots were designed to be easily cropped for TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts. And I want to be fair here. Centered framing is not automatically bad. Wes Anderson exists, Stanley Kubrick. Symmetry is cinematic in a lot of ways. Just because something is centered doesn't mean it was made for vertical video. And the filmmakers push back on that idea. So I don't want to make a definite claim like, yeah, Disney made Hex for TikTok. I mean, that would be unfair. But the fact that the people even has this reaction says something about where the audience's trust is with Disney right now. People are watching this Disney trailer and asking, was a creative choice made by artists, or was this made by an algorithm? And that's not a small problem. Because Disney used to be a studio associated with craft, storyboards, songs, big emotional animation, with characters that felt alive. Now some people look at Disney projects and wonder, is they being designed around trailers, vertical clips, brand synergy, and theme park potential before being designed around cinema? That might not always be fair, but perception matters. And if the audience starts assuming your creative choices are for business choices, you got a trust problem. Now, to give Disney credit, the Lilo Scratch short sounds like a genuinely good move. I love that Disney's bringing this back as a theatrical short before Hexed. That used to be part of the magic of seeing a Disney or Pixar movie. You sit down, the lights would dim, and before the main feature started, you get a little appetizer. And these shorts weren't just about bonus content. They're little reminders that animation can still be experimental. So bringing back that tradition is good. And using Stitch makes sense. This Stitch is one of Disney's most beloved modern characters. If you're trying to get people excited about theatrical animation again, Stitch is not a bad guy to bring into it. But that's a part of the problem. Even Disney's We're Bringing Back Shorts movie is still tied to nostalgia. It's not just the original short, it's Stitch. And again, I love Stitch, so I'm not anti-Stitch. Disney takes a promising step forward, then wraps in something familiar to make sure nobody gets scared. Original movie? Great, but let's put Stitch in there. New fantasy world? Great, but let's make sure it's recognizable. At some point, Disney has to let new ideas stand on its own 2 feet without holding Mickey's hand the whole time. Because the best Disney movies usually commit. The Little Mermaid commits to romance and longing. Beauty and the Beast commits to gothic fairy tale drama. The Lion King commits to Shakespeare with lions. Moana commits to cultural adventure, music, mythology, and the ocean as a character. Even movies that did not fully work like Atlantis or Treasure Planet at least felt like Disney was taking a swing. Disney today often feels like it wants the appearance of a swing without risking the risk of meaning, just like Anthony Volpe. You just can't make generational animation that way. You cannot spreadsheet your way into wonder. And that's where indie animation is eating everybody's lunch right now. Because indie animation does not usually have Disney's budget, but it has a clear identity. The Amazing Digital Circus knows exactly what it is. Digital anxiety, color horror comedy, absurdist internet energy, existential dread in a circus tent. A VivziePop project knows exactly what it is. Theatrical, messy, musical, emotional, adult, fandom-driven chaos. Disney should not copy these projects. That'd be ridiculous. But Disney should learn from them. The lesson's not to be edgy. The lesson is to be specific. And this is the question I keep coming back to. Who is Disney trying to appeal for? If Moana is trying to appeal to kids, why remake a movie that many kids already watched animated and still enjoyed perfectly fine? If it's for nostalgic adults, are the adults nostalgic enough yet? If Hex is for teens, will it actually talk to teens like they're smart, or will it give us the cleaned up version of teen weirdness that feels like Hot Topic designed for corporate retreat? If Lilo and Stitch is for animation fans, will it actually lead to more experimental shorts? Or is it just another way to remind people that Stitch is still just a great brand? And this is where Disney's strategy still feels blurry. Modern audiences have too many options. They know when something's made directly for them, and they know when something is vaguely gesturing in their direction. That's why indie animation fans show up. That's why anime fans show up. That's why adult animation fans show up. These projects understand their audience. Disney sometimes feels like they're trying to please the kid, the parent, the Disney adult, the shareholder, the TikTok editor, the merchandise department, and the theme park division all at the same time. And at that point, you're not making a movie, you're making a group project. One person does all the work, two people disappear, and someone shows up at the end with the poster board covered in glitter. So what does Disney do? First, commit harder to original theatrical animation. Not just one original movie every now and then, but a real run of original stories, where the audience starts to trust that Disney animation is not just the remake and sequel department. Second, let the visual style match the premise. If Hex is about wild, unhinged magic, then let it feel wild and unhinged. Push the shapes, push the composition, push the color. Give us something that doesn't feel like every other modern CG family film. Third, bring back shorts for real. Not just as nostalgia bait, not just as a one-time Stitch event. Use shorts as a laboratory again. Let young artists experiment. Let the studio try new styles. Explore new technology. Let the audience see that Disney still has craft under the hood. Fourth, stop being afraid of specific. If a movie's for teens, make it for teens. If a movie is for families, make it for families. You cannot serve everybody the same pasta dish and call it a feast. Believe it or not, I get sick of penny and vodka sauce. Sometimes. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Hex could be fantastic. The Moana remake could be more heartfelt than I expected. Lilo Scratch could be the start of a real short revival. Disney could quietly be setting up a creative comeback. And honestly, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want Disney to fail. I want Disney to get its confidence back. I want Disney animation to feel like an event again. I want to walk into a theater like I'm seeing something that can only come from an artist who were allowed to make a real swing, like Aaron Judge. So if this video ages poorly, fantastic. I'm going to take the L. Put it in the freezer next to my old Jimmy Neutron video. But right now, looking at this pattern, I think Disney's stuck between nostalgia and trend chasing. And when you're stuck between those two things, you're not moving forward. You're circling back the block looking for parking. So my take is this. Disney's problem is not that it has no talent. It's that they got some of the best artists, animators, writers, designers, composers, and storytellers in the world. Disney's problem is that nostalgia is not automatically bad. Nostalgia could be powerful when it deepens something instead of replacing something. The problem is that Disney seems nervous. Nervous to let new ideas breathe. Nervous to let animation get too weird. Nervous to let young audiences decide what it's like without over-explaining it. Nervous to make original movies feel like main events instead of the risky side dish. And if Disney wants to compete in a world where indie animation, anime, streaming animation, and creator-led projects are building intense fandoms, they cannot just keep reheating the same plate. They gotta cook that plate again. And I'm saying that with love. Also with Nona's wooden spoon. Because Disney, come on, you're Disney. Act like it. So what do you think? Is Disney playing it too safe with Moana, Hexed, and its nostalgia strategy? Or do you think these projects align with a sign that Disney's slowly finding its way back? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, if you like animation commentary, industry talk, and me yelling about cartoons, subscribe to the channel for more.